Hey team, this is our zone defense. We call it X because if you look at the red players are us. We look like an X. There's a mom in the middle, two top players, and the X structure is finished out by the 3 or the 4 at the bottom. The 5 in the middle got called the mom because at one time we would call this the house. It's the house, and we want to protect the house at all times. We don't want any blue inside there, no opponents ever. So mom's responsibility is to always make sure the ball stays out. That's her primary concern. That's the creepiest thing that can happen is the ball go in. To prevent that, the mom will always be on the ball basket line. She will always be as close to the ball as possible on the line between the ball and the basket. There's no other zone in the world like this. We made it just for Thailand girls basketball at the level at which we play. If we come across a really, really great team, they might beat us, and I'll show you how later. The top two girls are trying to influence play. You can't stop a person with the ball. If they're good, they can go by you. So it's not one person ever guarding the ball. So we're not doing that. We're trying to limit where they can go. So in this arrangement, we might have one pop up and two pop back, and two might even put a foot into the house, into the red. Properly, in America, they would call this the key. In international ball, they call the red area the restricted area, but it's the position in the free throw lane. So the 2 and the 1 are working together to create this ramp. We want the ramp to point towards the corner. If the 4 comes out too far, it kind of makes people feel like this is congested. We want this area to feel open and easy, so we ask the 4 to stay back near the block. If 1 wants to come down here and pass the ball or dribble the ball, we'll let 3 grab it. We want that to feel welcoming because we're going to put the 2 now high on them and hope they will continue to dribble. If they continue to dribble, great. Then 4 will help and 2 will help. The only thing that can happen bad down here is if 3 goes under us. And that's pretty terrible because now 3 has passing options to 5, to a shooter number 1, maybe a 4 that slides to the corner. They also have their own possibility of shooting the layup unless red gets in the way. So we will never allow the baseline. Number 4, your job is take away the baseline. If we can catch a player with the ball here, this is one of the best possible outcomes for us, and we will allow a lot. So 5, if 5's following the rules, needs to be on the line between the ball and the hoop as close to the ball as possible. So there's kind of a pile up of players. Well, that leaves somebody open, and that's okay. Other rules to follow are that 2 and 1 are tied together. So 2 and 1 needs to come together and start to fill in the middle. 3 is tied to 4, so 3 might have to come a little closer to 4 to remain that tied distance. The distance stays about the same the entire game. Now, if blue were playing good team basketball, 1 might come down here and help number 3 in blue, and 2 would probably come around and fill, and 4 might come up. And if 4 is really sneaky, 4 might try to sneak in the house. That's what I would do if I was playing. And 5 might even try to come up here and try to get in front of 3. So now we have this tight battle, but look how much court they're not using. I love that we forced them into about half of the court really is being used. So 3 has to continue to fight and stay on the front side of 5, and 1 probably needs to pick up 4. So what are we allowing? We're allowing this pass out, and if that happens, we would sure hope that 2 or 4 or both would pop out. They should. 3 should slide over. Mom stays on the hoop ball line as close to the ball inside the house as possible. We jokingly say that's a stay-at-home mom role. You're going to stay in the house no matter what. And then 1 can play. Now 1's most worried about 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Everyone's always concerned about somebody in the house. We don't like that. We'd love to kind of bump this person out, but yeah, this person's a concern, but what would we rather give up? This shot inside the house or this three-pointer? As a coach, I'd rather let him have the three-pointer. And hopefully then somebody would run out and defend it, and 3's present and could slide up to take 4. 5's going to slide up on the hoop ball line. And it's quite adaptive, so it never really looks like a 2-3 zone. It looks like a bunch of trash. But if everybody follows their rules, 2 works with 1. They stay tied together. See, their distance is about the same as it was at the start of everything. 4 and 3, they're a little far apart. It might make sense actually to bring 3 a little closer to 4. So what does this allow? Well, from 2's position, that 1 pass is kind of tough. Actually, I would encourage us to take 2 back a little bit. Slide back some. 1, calm down. 1 may even leave. We may decide to get back in this arrangement, but we don't want to take away the corner ever. This would be overplay by 2. We want to come down, show it to them. 4 might slide down here because, again, we're not trying to deny 3. We'll let 3 catch that. Let's go back to the block. Maybe 2 needs to come up and actually bump 1 over. Now there, look. Now we're inviting the corner, right? We're saying, come down here. Play in this corner. It'll be fun. You'll like it. It's not going to be fun. We're going to make it horrible. We're going to trap it every time. So let's say the ball comes back to 1. Great. 2, you're on the high side, making sure this person only wants to go deeper into the corner and towards the baseline. If they don't do anything, we can try to trap here, but we cannot let 1 go baseline. We cannot let that happen. 4's got to take that away. Now, if it's a good player here, and we're going to meet a lot of good players, and 1 might pass to 3. Oh, we're in trouble. No, actually, we're not. Remember, because Mom, she's constantly on the ball basket line. So she's there. 4's got to transition down, bump Mom out. Mom's going to stay and help. There's the trap. Great. Now what? What are we giving up? We're giving up this, and then eventually this. But hopefully at this point, 3 and 4 should be tied together. So 4 is way up high. 4 is probably down here, probably front that 3. 5, or sorry. 4s tend to, the opponents 4 and 5 will try to tend to move towards the ball. So if it did go down here, good, we're trapping. If it comes back out to 1, great, we'll start to adjust. 2, we'll jump up high again. 4 might come to the front of 3, but again, we're keeping it in the corner. If they're smart and they swing it, and maybe they're over here, this person comes baseline, maybe there's a little dribbling going on. 4 will eventually get to a place where they can play basketball. Now this would be troublesome. This is the situation that happens with good teams. They swing the ball around the outside, and they end up in a spot where we really have to play. So we have to sprint over, cut them off in a way that leads them into the corner. 3's got to adjust and allow the corner. 5 should be on this line right here as close to the ball as possible. 2 can come back up. It's a little bit of a run, you can see. That's the moment when we're vulnerable, when the ball swings to the other side. We're going to try to keep them playing on one side of the court the whole time. Now, whatever happens, let's say it goes out to 3, and that person is actually a particularly good three-point shooter. 3 can come out, and maybe they don't totally make it before that three-point shooter shoots the ball. Oh, no. That's actually okay. If they did a good job of swinging the ball, they're a mature team, they're going to get some shots up. But what I expect is that our 3 puts up 1 or maybe 2 hands and builds a wall. We want to put up a wall, and we're going to keep them looking at that corner. We're not going to give them the baseline. And they shoot over us outside the key. If they shoot over one of our walls outside the key, then we've done our job. And we should be really proud of that. Now, if we never get there and there's no wall and this player shoots, I would be upset with that because that's a lack of effort. If you made the effort to get there and build a wall, put some hands up and block their view of the hoop, you did a great job. So that's what we want. Notice we're still in an X pattern. There it is. If the ball went down to this corner, Mom would come down here. 3 came way out, so 4 is coming way over. 2 tied to 1, so 1 should be coming down to fill in on the trap, and 2's coming across and tied to number 1, so they got to maintain a pretty close distance. Something like 5 meters, 4 meters, something like that. And what could that allow? It could maybe allow this 4 pass. That's tough. 2 could hunt it. And it could allow a big skip pass. But simply put, the people we play usually aren't good enough to make those passes. That's a hard pass. Or 4 to 1. Those are great professional level, high level, strong player passes. But we don't see a lot of those. If a team's that good, the reality is they're probably going to beat us because our zone defense is made to clog the court, push play to one side, and trap it there. This works against most of the teams. Every once in a while, we come across a very athletic, well-coached team, and they've gotten way more practice time than us. They probably deserve to win. They're probably going to beat us. Now, there is one way we can give them a real run for their money, and that's by playing 22 press and doing it well. And I'll show that to you in a different video. Thanks for following along, and I encourage you to watch it again if you need to.